see it.
Oh,
Oh, there it is.
What is that?
Well, I'm looking at the details to try to figure out what wraps up to that number myself. So we're up to 27,000. I see one, two, what other programs? And water testing is the big mover on that. That's on page 167.
Are we increasing our water testing?
That's the expectation with the meter program,
Changing it.
that we may have to do some additional testing if we have to replace some service laterals because we have to try to shut them off and they fail. So,
So you, programming is like mailings and stuff?
well, programming is just a classification of expense in the budget. In this case, for whatever reason, water testing falls under programming.
Oh, okay.
I could certainly see picking something else, and that would make sense. Let me, just for the sake of discussion, contemplate that, but
And the last question was overtime, so page 166, overtime for main meters. Um,
and again, that's gonna relate to the EMI meter replacement project. There's gonna be times where we're gonna need staff to hold over past regular shift to help facilitate the, again, shutting off valves, in relation to the meter replacement program. So, I hope it's only 2,000, could be 20,000. I will hope for the best and hope that everything works pretty good.
There is water testing, by the way, on page 167. Just wanted to tell you that. It's going up to 20 grand.
Yes, that's,
Is that
and
what
again, the
it is?
very far right
that's the
column, that's
programming.
labeled programming, that's what
Okay.
goes up into that program.
We just went out to bid, did we get the bids back for the water meters?
We approved it.
Yeah.
What was the amount?
1.2 something.
I feel like we're reviewing some money.
The AMI, not the AMI.
Well, I know, but is it the 1.5 million that's here, or is it, is that
That
the
was
right
less.
number?
That was
I think it was 1.2 at this point, so,
What did
again,
it?
the 1.5 is the placeholder from the long-range
Right.
plan. I will update that as a staff adjustment.
Board
might,
adjustment.
which might, you know, I don't know if that would affect principal payments and, oh, we wouldn't be
Not
paying,
in
we wouldn't
this
be paying debt
schedule.
service till next year.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah, I just had a question about that, supplies vehicle total line.
And then vehicle
Um,
equipment also.
So, I guess it looks like our projected for 2019 is what we're going off for this year. Is that the right amount considering the meter replacement that's happening this year? I mean, I'm assuming that this is the vehicle that they use, but I don't know if you
The vehicle total.
could.
Are you talking about maintenance, basically? No.
Which
It's
line
on
item?
163, sorry. It's the,
The summary page?
yeah, on the summary page, supplies vehicle total.
Isn't that related to maintenance?
Vehicle total of 8,500.
Which was the projected this year, but every other year was lower.
Supplies, vehicles, the line item details on that are on the bottom of page 166. That's vehicle maintenance and fuel. One of the other initiatives that staff has introduced is with the new fuel system, we are now tracking fuel charges for the utilities and we're charging those out of DPW against the utility. So that's why that item tends to bump up a little bit more than.
Did it just start in 19? Because we only
Yes.
budgeted 2,500 and then so you must.
No, we actually didn't budget anything.
Well,
We project 2,500. We
that was the
implemented-
adopted budget for 2019. 2,500 and then we project 8,250.
Oh, for vehicle maintenance, you mean?
Yes.
Okay, I was
No,
talking
no,
about.
no.
Fuel charge, that's separate
Supplies.
fuel charge.
Supplies vehicle
Vehicle
total.
total.
Yeah, and again, the detail for those two line items is on page 166.
Yeah.
For supplies
Which breaks
vehicles.
them out.
So you must have changed the
Fuel is
practice this
separate.
year is all I'm saying.
Yes,
In 19.
yes. And that's a direct result of the new fuel system that was in.
Okay.
Okay.
So, my last thing circled here is the, on page 167 is vehicles, equipment, we budgeted what, 10,000, is that right?
That's correct.
Yes.
So we're not, and then what did we buy in 19 that it's 35? Was it just?
I know.
This is really,
All
I
right,
believe that's a valve turner in
Call it
19.
okay.
The 10,000 is for small equipment, there's nothing specific,
it's like that.
but that's the line item we're, you know, leak, you know, pipe testers, stuff like that.
So I had,
Oh, no, I thought it was better. So page 171, it says the segment of water main will be replaced in conjunction with 2020 roads. So this is the Larkin New Hall. This is gonna be the water portion of the Larkin New Hall road program, right?
That is from, yes,
Okay.
that's from the, again, from the long range plan. We're gonna try to get a little more descriptive details, before, final budget goes out for public. They just weren't available at the time I put this together.
So we'll be doing the downer meter pit and meter replacements this year. Okay, great.
On page 169, that this isn't a request to fund the engineering, that little paragraph down there above operating budget impact. This is the actual construction on page 169.
Thank you. I believe that includes engineering,
Oh,
not
okay.
just construction, but
Okay.
that would still need to be
Okay.
struck, yeah.
Okay, anything else on water or are we good? All right,
No?
move on to sewer. And my next question with this one, was, yeah, what we had, what we're gonna have in actual cash, in net assets, and did you do the, $300,000 house and the whole thing with property tax and showing utilities, or is that?
Yeah, that was in the long range plan.
Okay,
And I can certainly share that again in the context of the budget.
I brought it, so, but, and the long range plan reflects these numbers?
Yeah. I got that.
Conceptually,
There.
I did
Yeah.
recalc it though earlier today. The anticipated impact of this increase would be $50 a year, $12 to $13 a quarter per household.
oh gosh, so.
So,
That's just the sewer part though,
And for water, we're still
but
building,
water's the same.
water should be the same, right?
water's unchanged,
And that's still gonna be, even with AMI, it's still gonna be quarterly billed, water?
yes.
Okay.
Per household, not average, per household.
Per
300,000.
User.
household because, per single family household, if that's a better.
Okay.
Multifamilies,
Okay. First thing.
So, you said $50 a,
Yeah, it's $12 to $13 per quarter,
Okay.
and that's, if it were $12.50, it would be $50 a year per
that's a
household.
lot.
It is. You know, and again, you know,
It's just the bill is pretty low, it's like a $50 total or something, and all of a sudden it's 62 or whatever, maybe.
I mean, it would,
Sure,
because we don't
yeah.
have, because we don't have the cash balance, like I know you, the explanation is, so we build up some cash balance and that funds our bond reserves and possibly some of the actual, costs, but it'd be nice to know.
I have some staff scratch paper on that, and I will sticky that up so I can share that with you.
Okay.
Is it, okay, if we're raising rates by 20%, why is our revenue only going up 16?
We're raising the volume rates by, approximately 20%. I think that hard calc is like 19 and a quarter. But the fixed costs, the MMSD connections, hazardous household waste, and the customer accounts cost, that is only going up about 10%.
But that's expenditures, right? You're talking about expenditures, I mean.
But the revenues are to cover those expenditures, so they correlate. That's how
But your
you,
okay, hold on. We're raising rate, charges for service, right,
yes,
by 20%.
for volume-based, it's two components, a fixed fee and a volume fee for sewer. The fixed fee is going from $11.25 to $12.25. The volume fee is proposed to go from $4.60 to $5.50. That is a 19.5, but the fixed fee is only about 10%.
So if I'm a homeowner, my rate is going up 16%?
Yes. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the way the math has to work.
It's two
out.
different components, but they add up to 16%.
They aggregate out, once your weighted averages, all that good stuff.
Okay.
And that equates to about $50 per year
Okay.
for your typical single family.
But we'd be wrong to say to a homeowner, your rate is going up 20%, or your bill is going up 20%.
No, that would be a little incorrect,
Okay.
yes.
Yes. So multifamily revenue is going up 24%.
Again, these are the same adjustments that I made on the water side fall with the
So
sewer
it's like
side,
the
so,
Oaks and the, some of the new.
Just because there's more
multifamily.
users,
well,
more usage?
I keep reviewing every year and updating, and it's strictly in this case, keep in mind that, you know, that includes the user charge increases that we've
Yeah,
talked about as
yeah,
well.
Yeah,
But it would be nice, Mike, going on Mike's thing is, last year, what we have a lot of new apartments, but some of them came online in 18, right?
Well, I can tell you the usage estimates from last year and this year side by side, if
That'd be
that's of
great.
any help.
That would be fabulous, cause
Sure.
then just what they encompass, like, so 2019 or 20, what's coming online that what came online in 2019, what's coming online?
Or even in 2018, because
Right, like-
how we backfill
There's
these
like 4 new apartment
projections.
buildings, and then just,
Yeah,
when did they come online, so you can see it.
I'd be happy to try to
It looks
explain
like
that in
something's
a little bit
coming
of a
online
narrative.
for 100.
I looked up the long-range financial plan and the sewer bill estimate for 19 is 284, and it's going to 341. So that's like $55. And the total cost, including property taxes, is 150, so about a third of, at least what's in the long-range plan, but that's,
But
I
the
don't
long
think our
range,
property tax percentage is less than what we're currently working from.
it's a big work in progress, and I'll also tell you for the metrics in the long range plan, I did not differentiate between the fixed fee and the volume fee. I just applied that to total household charges, so the amount in the long range plan is slightly overstated. When I did the new calculation
okay.
for what the fixed charges were, they were not required to increase by 20%, it was only about 10%. Again, that's a cost recovery model that, you know, what's volume based, what's fixed.
For professional fees, general engineering, on page 174,
Mm-hmm.
we spent 2,500 projected this year for actuals, which was the highest of the 3 years, and it's doubling from that. So what is projected from the difference between 2019 and 20? I know it says it went down 50%, but I'm just saying 2,500 for 19 was almost, it's significantly more than the other years, and then we went up, we doubled it.
I would have to try to find source notes for my 2019 budget on why that level was picked. I'm fairly certain it was a placeholder estimate because,
For what? Because we obviously didn't do it, because we only had 2,500
yeah,
in actuals.
I don't know if I have that detailed level of notes. I
Okay.
think there was just a general discussion to say, well,
The only reason I ask is we have a new engineer, we have an
Yeah.
engineer, and so
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how.
no. I mean, you're absolutely correct. I just don't know if we had that in-depth of a detailed discussion about
Okay.
what the component costs of that were going to be.
Because we could go down to 2,500, just match that projected, unless there's something new.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's-
I just had a question, because you had said that you were looking at the sewer and water and increases. So, because the residential increased in sewer 14%, but there was a 0.5% decrease in water, and that you were trying to kind of correlate those for commercial and multifamily. I'm not sure I totally understand how those.
Well, and again, keep in mind that there's also different fixed charges associated between the water and the sewer, so those are again, when we look at volume adjustments, it only affects part of the calculation, not the whole calculation, the fixed charges. And again, I try to be as transparent as possible with this, and I list those all out separately. But let me see as part of my usage estimate, I can try to expand as much as possible on
Okay,
that.
yeah, I was just a little bit confused when you
Yeah.
said that about, you know, it doesn't, they don't seem to kind of align, so.
Because the real, I mean, I calculate the detail sheet and then carry that forward.
Mhm.
I mean, that's just how, you know, we look when we start talking about volume charges, rates, connect fees. So, yeah, I'll try to work up a nice matrix that makes it a
Okay.
little easier to get your head around.
Okay, thank you.
So for sewer maintenance, vehicle maintenance, on page 175, it's the highest it's been in 3 years in 2019, projected at 30,000. Which, do you know what that was from? And then it goes back down to 2018. And then if you go to page 176, it looks like we're buying that new machine for 485 for capital
Right.
under equipment. Is that correlated or?
Well, DPW has put off some pretty significant repairs to that piece of equipment pending the board's decision on whether or not
But
we
I
should
mean, is
replace
the
that.
30,000 related to that we spent in 2019? Because it's the highest it's been in 3 years to maintenance.
Yes, there's been some maintenance that had to be done
On that
on that
machine?
equipment,
Okay,
just to keep it operational.
so then with the brand new equipment, we're still going back, so 10,000 in other equipment repairs? Is that
Yes,
correct?
vehicle maintenance costs.
How many more trucks do they have?
Well, I mean, there's still hydraulic issues